On the surface, Gacha Life may seem like your typical dress-up children's game, and to a reasonable extent it is. But what truly makes the world of Gacha Life so incredibly bizarre and unsettling is the absolutely insane community behind the app, specifically those who upload Gacha Life mini-movies. So let's dive into the disturbing world of Gacha Life. Well, as previously stated, Gacha Life is a dress-up game. It allows the user to create and customize chibi-like avatars, as well as make scenes for those characters in different locations. The company behind these games is Luname. Luname has been making these gacha games for years now, and Gacha Life is just one of their several works. So what are the games like? Well, to be honest, apart from the dress-up and avatar customization, there isn't much to write home about. There are some mini-games, but they're kind of bad, and I tried to find out more about the company to get more context, and I ended up being given some information by one of the moderators on the official Luminate Discord server. They ended up linking to a DeviantArt page which was related to a pre-Gacha Life project of Lucas Lee, the alleged founder of Luname. You can tell by the DeviantArt page that the people working behind this project were very ambitious and passionate. From the somewhat over-designed characters that looked like they came straight out of Bakugan to the odd cyberpunk-like aesthetic of the presentation. And the DeviantArt page says that they are students, although it's 7 years old at this point, so clearly Luname was founded by a group of ambitious college students. And to be fair, for what they've managed to create since 2016, that is a massive mobile franchise that is Gachaverse, I feel like they deserve all the support they've gotten. Gacha Life itself is a pretty fun app actually. I probably would have loved this when I was younger, and I can see its mass appeal to kids. But in times like this, maybe appealing to kids is the wrong move. If FNAF, Undertale, Minecraft, and Roblox have taught me anything, it's that having a young audience make up the majority of your fan base is going to lead to some very unique problems. Gacha Life isn't terrible, the fandom behind it is. And this is where you need to be reminded that most of the people that make Gacha Life mini-movies are under the age of 14. With that being said, a lot of the downright inappropriate things that many of the videos contain are made even more unsettling and disturbing. The subject matter on Gacha Life mini-movies can range from a girl being sold into slavery and falling in love with her master to high school dating drama. Sometimes these gacha tubers try and tackle very serious subjects, such as drug abuse and suicide, and since many of these videos are made for children and by children, most of the videos end up being extremely inept and shallow. In fact, sometimes it feels like these videos are almost glorifying or romanticizing some of the very dangerous subject matter they choose to focus on. I don't know why so many kids think suicide and depression is cool or aesthetic. The problem with kids making these videos is the fact that kids are young and impressionable. So if you treat suicide, drug abuse, and slavery as vapid and meaningless as these videos do, you're not only normalizing them to a young audience, but you're actively portraying them in a less severe manner than they actually are. I'm not saying that complex topics can't be handled through lowbrow mediums. I'm saying that they can't be handled by kids who know next to nothing about the sheer severity of what they're talking about. Also, because kids are unoriginal, most of these videos just end up being the same idea over and over again. My boyfriend is a billionaire, my billionaire boyfriend, a billionaire in love with a maid, a billionaire best friend, a billionaire's criminal girlfriend, and another my billionaire boyfriend. And all I typed into the search bar was Gacha Life mini-movie. So let's actually watch one of these videos. Let's take a look at Can I Jump Now? GLMM, Gacha Life mini-movie. Unknown Secret. The thumbnail is certainly interesting. So it starts with these two girls going to class, and then this pink-haired girl frames Mizuka for saying something, and the teacher believes it because the pink-haired girl said which is apparently what cats say. And then Mizuka gets detention, and after detention, the pink-haired girl kicks her, and fast forward a bit more, and the Mizuka girl is being married off in her own house. And obviously the Mizuka girl is like, oh, I'm not gonna marry a guy I just met, and her mother beats her up for that, and tries to lie in front of the people who are trying to marry her off, even though they just clearly saw her beat up her own daughter. And then Mizuka runs off into her room and cuts herself. So this is also about self-harm. So the next day, her mother beats her up again for dressing like a tomboy. And when she gets to school, she fights some people and is acting all edgy and stuff. And she gets home and her mother discovers that she cuts herself. And her mother of the year, kicks her out, and she lives on the streets. And then the next day of school, Mizuka beats up a bunch of people who were, I think, bullying her. And then Naruto runs away saying she's a monster and it's all melodramatic. And then she comes back to school the next day, or maybe some time later, they don't really specify. And then, everyone's making fun of her. Well, not everyone, just, these three were making fun of her because she looks super skinny. And then one of them is like, you should jump off the building. And then she jumps off the building and kills herself. And the thing pretends to be all, sad and stuff. And this is only scratching the surface of the absolutely messed up portrayal of very real issues. Obviously, I'm not gonna watch every last one of these depression-glorifying videos, but just by looking at the thumbnails of most of these, you can get a clear idea of what they'll be. In the Gacha Life mini-movie, I Let You Break Me Because I Love You, the whole video is about this abusive relationship where a woman is constantly mistreated, hurt, and forced to do uncomfortable things by Kyoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia. And just to prove how little these creators actually care about the issues they bring up, the very description of this video says,
so this video has a lot of mistakes, mostly because I was watching a show on Netflix, so ignore the mistakes.
In the Gacha Life mini-movie Dating My Teacher Episode 1, an adult teacher lusts after their student, locks them in a classroom, and now, I don't like calling out individual channels, but the channel that made this video is called Lisa Dynasty, and 90% of their videos are gay love stories, where one lover just so happens to be a lot smaller than the other one. And the thumbnails are so incredibly disturbing and predatory, I don't even know what to say anymore. Okay, so far we've covered suicide, abuse, and pedophilia. Let's spin the wheel and add some racism on this cake as well. Now I want you to take a good long look at these characters. Are these characters black? Well, in the Gacha Life mini-movie Black Lives Matter, these two black twins are bullied by racist white people. Apparently, the racism in their world is so bad that one day, their father was killed by the White Terrorist Group, a group of terrorists that kills every happy black person. Don't know whether any of this group exists? Do you see the problem here? So then one of the twins is attacked by a member of White Terrorist Group, who says they're going to kill her like George Floyd. If you're going to deal with a topic this serious and try and reference real-world events, the least you can do is spell the victim's name correctly. So the white terrorist kills the twins, the mother enters the house to see them dead, and the video ends like this. That's it. That's the end. You know what's kind of gross about this video? The fact that the person probably only made this to cash in on a trend and get lots of views. The fact that the person who made this didn't even make the characters actually black. The fact that the person who made this couldn't even spell the name of a real-world victim of the event they were referencing. The fact that the person who made this probably wasn't even black themselves and had the audacity to upload a video like this and veil it under some weak disguise of social justice. My concluding thoughts on Gacha Life's insane community is really hard to put into words, but I'm quite sure Gacha Life represents how children being exposed to inappropriate media at a young age leads to the romanticization of very real issues. And while one may look at this and think future generations are doomed, that isn't really the case. Most kids will grow out of this phase once they're adults, as Gacha Life is just a way for children to express themselves. be it for better or for worse. Mostly worse. But at the end of the day, the moral of the story is, parents should monitor what their children do on the internet more. Thank you for watching this video, and you should subscribe. Like, right now.